girls will kick it with someone who's openly gay, but still use gay as like a genuine insult. Like, dudes, when we call something gay, we're basically just saying we don't like it. Oh, that's gay. Not as in homosexual, that's gay because that shit fucking sucks. We're not saying that gay people suck. Bro, this is a whole fucking South Park episode, bro. Like, I'm not even going through this shit. Dudes just think that every gay man wants them for some reason. Women will actively hang out with a gay man and still use gay as a genuine insult, as if they think gay people are lesser. Women are just as or even more homophobic than most men. But their homophobia is like the whole, I'm not homophobic, my friend's gay. Like, you know, sometimes they say God give his toughest battles to his toughest soldiers. I ain't asked for this shit, bro. How the fuck you know I was one of your toughest soldiers, nigga? My granny died, then my cousin died, then my bitch left me, my baby, my whole world, nigga, left me. Don't want to be with me. And I'm homeless, and I'm scared because I'm in the like, this nigga right here, this shit not it, bro. I swear by Jesus. Bro, I'm not as tough as you think I am, God. Chill on me. Chill on me, my nigga. Oh, God, shit, for now, at all, you taking it all, my peoples, my all, nigga. The fuck do I got hard on? The fuck did you want? What? They say God give his toughest battles to his toughest soldiers. I ain't asked for this shit, bro. How the fuck you know I was one of your toughest soldiers, nigga? My granny died, then my cousin died, then my bitch left me, my baby, my whole world, nigga, left me. Don't want to be with me. And I'm homeless, and I'm scared because I'm in the like, this nigga right here.
What's the food kind of food?
That's a good question. Probably like Latin food or.
What's the food kind of food?
That's a good question. Probably like.
No, because watch this. So easy, so.
I think the black community is being held back by Christianity. That's my main motivation for doing this. I think that Christianity is holding the black community back. Not just the black community, us as a country. Because like I said, it's tied politically. We're not going to talk about the plight to create a permanent underclass, a permanent working class. Why they have to incorporate that into the religion, why we're not able to separate religion and politics because they're two sides of the same coin. Religion is always tied to politics because the religious people who politicize their beliefs, they go together. And you use your beliefs to run the political parties. I don't think it applies to everything in Christianity. We see it applying to Christianity in real time with Donald Trump and his Christian nationalists. You know why they care about banning abortion and making sure that God wants you to keep us on earth. God told Adam and Eve so many things. Why do we think that he meant every woman as it's possible? Like, it's the reaching for me. It's the reaching for me. All back to why I'm reaching for women. That's the main problem that I got with all major religions. They are oppressive to women. That's why I cannot genuinely organize religion because I have not found one yet that's not oppressive to women. The women got to come around. The man is free. I'm not responsible for his lust because he came up with these rules. I don't believe that's God. We're not doing anything because we're waiting on Jesus to save us. Constantly waiting for something to come that's never coming. The way that it eats away at your time and robs you of your good years. I've seen the church steal so many women's good years waiting on something that ain't coming.
Good years.
We're sitting around waiting on God like a little kid sitting on the porch with his backpack waiting for his baby to show up. Oh, he's not coming. It don't work like that. Even that part of the Bible, even the rapture concept, didn't even become popular until 200 years ago. I heard them say in the 1600s, but honestly, it was 200. It was the 1830s when it started to become a religion of Christianity. 200 years ago, and we put our life on it today. We put our life on it today. A white man came up with it 200 years ago. King James, the King of England, in Scotland. This is who y'all want to bet the farm on? Imagine them convincing you that your heaven was in the sky while they was enjoying theirs here on earth.
Can we all agree to just ban street interviews? Because what on earth is this?
Do you think race mixing should be illegal? Like mixing races, like a black person, white person, has like Asian and Mexican.
It's a shame. Seriously, the concept of shape skips a couple of generations. What on earth was that? Like, if you ever find yourself in that situation asking that question, the follow-up question is not why not? It's, yeah, I'm really sorry to be bothering you. Should I go look in that reflective surface over there and realise this is what my life has come to?
Everyone loves who they love.
So you're a mud shark. You're a mud shark?
A shark is crazy. No.
You said you like chocolate men.
Okay.
You're a mud shark.
Every once in a while, I will say something on here and someone will insult me, and usually it's a very niche insult, and I've got to look up what it means, and typically it's from somewhere in the deepest, darkest corners of the internet, and what that tells me is that person is deeply weird and chronically online. Coming out with that phrase, what would possess you to do that? Like, I'm 99% sure that guy's being rage baited by those girls, and the fact that he's responding like that, and then later choosing to upload his response is incredibly telling of who he is. Like, why would you call yourself a non-biased?
If the child is more likely to turn out,
That's statistic.
yes.
From what source?
Me looking around.
I'll just leave this here. I don't feel like any more needs to be said. Can we all agree to just ban street interviews because
What on earth is this? What on earth?
what on earth is this?
What on earth is this? What on earth? Earth. Earthity bubbly boo.
In your word, in the guest box, how you doing, Word? Mr. Word, Mr. Word, are you at least 18 and are you a believer? Cool. And what would be your most convincing evidence or argument for your physical God being realized in the Christian God?
So I know I'm just a stupid sitcom actor, but I did want to pick your brain about atheism. And I know right now I would call you kind of a spiritual atheist. Is such a thing possible? Can one be a spiritual atheist?
Sure.
How would that work?
I'm not quite sure what someone means by spiritual.
You mean like has a spirit?
An atheist that incorporates
Little did you all know that that climate change video I made was purposely censorious, and I lied about everything I said just so I could create rage bait content, read your hate comments, and then create a new video and make money off of it. No, I genuinely meant everything I said in that video. And it's been funny. The video came out at 4 p.m. my time, and I remember looking at it at like about 10 p.m. and I think the like-dislike ratio was like 93%, something like that. Well, it's plummeted since then. So I think people that maybe aren't subscribers or regular viewers started seeing the video afterwards, and oh boy, are they angry. It's super obvious that the majority of a lot of the craziest hate comments came from people that watched maybe 3% of the video or paid no attention whatsoever. The majority of the most hateful or critical comments or whatever can be dismissed by these facts. One, I specifically said human-induced climate change is real. Two, I explicitly said we should seek out policies that mitigate against the disaster-type scenarios involved with climate change. And actually, that's pretty much it. The vast majority of the criticism is people just telling me that I think climate change is a hoax. I said exactly the opposite of that. Guanale 34 is particularly mad, and we're going to see a lot from them. For the next few weeks, you're going to get a lot more calls from people wanting to discuss climate change than those. No. Make sure you read this Johnson report comment. It's so funny. But I wanna say something. It's either Bill Burr or Louis C.K. I don't know. The raunchy ginger comedians all kind of blend together for me. But they have this funny and really interesting, because it's true, bit about pro-lifers and pro-choicers. And what he's essentially saying is, I don't get why pro-choice people don't get why pro-life people are outraged. They think you're murdering a baby. You can disagree with them, you can think they're wrong, but how can you not understand that they find that completely outrageous? So I think that climate change is an existential risk for us. Not really. In fact, the things about climate change I think pose existential risks are the downstream geopolitical effects of it. That all the insects are not going to die, so and we won't be able to grow food anymore. We're not going to run out of oxygen because the trees disappear. That's just like literally not even how that works. Yeah, we'll get to that. There's a specific common thread about that. However, I understand that other people do think that it's an existential crisis. And while I disagree, I mean, I understand the logic, I can understand the reasons that people have for forming that belief. So I don't fault anybody for that. I don't think you're dumb. I don't think you're being dishonest or a bad person or anything like that. So I'm not making this video, oh, first of all, here's what I know is coming out of that. People are going, maybe they won't be quite listening. So I'm not making this video, oh, first of all, here's what I know is coming out of that. People are going, maybe they won't be quite listening. So I'm not making this video, oh, first of all, here's what I know is coming out of that. People are going, maybe they won't be quite listening. So I'm not making there's going to be a lot of comments saying, Herder, the science denier, had to do a damage control video. No, that's not at all what this is. I'm also not going to point out every single criticism and say, ha ha ha, you're wrong. I'm really kind of doing this for the lulz and to have a chance to talk about things that I didn't talk about in that first video because I didn't want it to be an hour long. I would say this is definitely the most thoughtful, and it's not even like a rebuttal to anything I said. They're just pointing out, hey Peterson, you didn't talk about this thing. One of the things about agriculture, which is that's always what I viewed as the biggest problem we would be facing centered around climate change is if the climate gets to the point where we can't grow food, then we're obviously all going to die. And I don't really think that way anymore because I understand how utterly broken and stupid the way we do agriculture is. We are currently so incredibly wasteful and inefficient with agriculture that if our ability to grow food suddenly became drastically lowered, we would be fine. We would just have to change the way we do agriculture. For example, where I live in California, there is this enormous battle going on with water rights between the Colorado River water and how much of it goes to Arizona, how much of it goes to California. California has extremely heavy political weight, and like the agricultural economy in California is so massive. Arizona needs water, yes, for people, but also like they're not growing food like we are. It's golf courses, right? Us, we're doing the food, right? So California is going to win the battle over the water with Arizona. However, we don't need all that water. In California, we grow a lot of cotton and we grow a lot of nuts. And none of those things need to be grown. And you wouldn't believe how water-intensive growing cashews and almonds, and especially cotton, is. In fact, like right where I live, there used to be this lake called Lake Tulare Lake or Lake Tulare, I don't remember. It was the biggest lake west of Lake Superior. It was bigger than Great Salt Lake. And less than 100 years ago, they just drained the entire thing so that they could grow cotton. Funny enough, when we had that extreme rainfall and flooding a few years ago, the lake actually came back. You go to other places like the rainforest. The primary reason why rainforests are being cut down is for agriculture. But it's not to grow soybeans to make tofu, it's for ranching. The vast majority of the land that we use and the food we grow is used to grow food that we feed to cows for the most part, it's cows. So yeah, I'm not a doomsdayer on this. We could lose literally half the arable land on the planet and still be able to make more than enough food to feed everybody. It would be like economically disastrous, which is a totally fair point to make. But if we just stopped feeding food to our food, we would be more than okay. And maybe lab grown meat will fix that anyway. Maybe climate change won't destroy any currently arable farmland on the planet, but we severely reduce how much farmland we're using anyways because it becomes more economically viable and efficient and whatever to just eat lab grown meat anyways. It would be a problem that solves itself. But take your comment. It's a good comment. It's a thoughtful one. I don't even really disagree. I'm just not alarmist with respect to it. Somebody's going to have to tell me what this is possibly supposed to mean. We've been extracting nitrogen from the atmosphere for, I think, over 100 years. The Haber-Bosch process, a Nobel Prize was won for that. The world population has doubled 3 times since then. So I have no idea what this comment means. Look at it this way, there's so much pushback from corporations to misrepresent the danger that the alarmist is often needed to get the point across. So if they're going to be extreme, we have to be extreme on the opposite side. It's not a bad take. What I kind of disagree on is this dude's old enough to remember. I'm old enough to remember. I don't know how many of you. Like, does anybody remember how utterly stupid everybody like on the right was about this issue 15 years ago? They just flat out said that the temperatures aren't even going up when we had known for decades that they are. So they've ceded so much ground on this that I think actually the Overton window position on it has shifted toward us. So again, I'm not super pessimistic about it. And again, I do advocate that we should enact policy that goes toward renewables and whatever else, whatever other types of things could mitigate the projected disastrous effects from climate change. So I wouldn't say that's the exact same thing as the being an alarmist to counter whatever's going on there, but I think it's close. Eric doesn't need to worry about those things because he doesn't live in Sudan, though. He can whine about alarmists and bullshit like that, while actual people die from heat strokes and he couldn't give a fuck. No, actually, I don't, and neither do you. There are Uyghurs trapped in concentration camps right now. Do you care? No, you don't. There are innumerable issues around the planet. There are too many things going on the planet for any one person to even begin to care about. Now, you can wish that they weren't the case. You can morally object to them.
Well, everybody, the day has come. Mafia of the Old Country is here, and I am ready for it. If you don't know me, I'm a big fan of Mafia. I really like Mafia games. I am not ashamed to say it. You know, they are interesting because they are not always the most intense in terms of like gameplay or combat or stealth or whatever, but they have some of the best world building, some of the best stories.
Grinding, because Pat Burke for 20 pieces is definitely better. This is a good card, but at the end of the day, I don't see why you would ever really spend money on this card. I think grinding form is like if you want him, sure, but I don't know. I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's unbelievably spectacular. I think there's several small forwards that are overall better than the Stanton card is, but we're going to see how he is, because I still think he's going to be a very solid card. So, before we hop into it, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Help me push towards the 50,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, Mike Bantham, 6'9", 99, everything, every single legend badge, standard stuff here. Let's see what the animations are looking like. Shout out to my guy Kelly, by the way, for letting me use the couch record this video in addition to the mellow gameplay that I dropped earlier today. Really appreciate that a lot. And let's see what this Bantham card can do, man. He's definitely going to be good. Jumper is super smooth. It reminds me of Danny Ferry's jumper. I don't know if it's the same shot or not. Either way, it's good. It's like Steph something, maybe? I truly don't know. I feel like I should know, but off the top of my head, at least, it's not. So, oh, here we go. I'm pulling it up right now. Let's take a look real quickly. It's Steph Oscar. Okay, so Steph Oscar's good. I like Steph Oscar. That's what Kareem has. That's what Shaq has. So several other cards have too. It's a very good shot. I mean, look, this card moves really well with a great jumper. He's a 6'9" small forward, though, so he doesn't have ridiculous size. A lot of people have 3 small forwards even that are bigger than that. I think when it comes to some competitive stuff, it's a little bit on the undersized level at this point in the year. That being said, he's going to be really, really good. His SIGs are perfect. He's pretty decently sized. I mean, like, he's not smallest player, but decent. But this card's good, man. He's very good. Would I recommend getting him with your pieces? Probably not, but he's definitely a good option if you want to pick him up. And 15 pieces feels like a good medium ground there as well, if that's somebody you're trying to consider grinding. So, with that being said, let's hop into a game. Let's see what Mike Bantham can do. That's a good team. LeBron, Luka, Carmelo, Giannis, KP. LeBron and KP especially are tough, and then like Giannis, Luka, Carmelo, not bad either. This is a
pretty good squad. It's a decent little matchup. Melo at the 3 is pretty small, so actually Bantam has a size advantage here versus being at a size disadvantage, like I kind of thought he might be. So that's a plus. But let's see what we can do in this game, man. This is a tier 1 player, so that would indicate, to me at least, this is going to be a pretty sweaty. It's like I kind of thought he might be, so that plus. But let's. Melo at the game, man. This is a tier 1 player, so that would indicate, to me at least, this is going to be a pretty sweaty game. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Looks pretty play happy so far, but not. What the? Dr. J, what are you doing? I didn't X switch a thing. I didn't touch a thing. He was on. Was he on KP? He was on KP, and then he wasn't. I don't know why, but apparently that's what happened. And we missed our first shot of the game. Wide open. Let's go. Good start to the game, man. We are hoping. Thinking like a dog. All right. Let's see what we can do, man. Look, this card is okay. If you don't want to watch the rest of this gameplay and you want an answer, this card is a 6'9" small forward version of Shaquille O'Neal and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's go cards. These are the same card as they are. So there's your answer. If you want them after that, then hey, go ahead and go grind for them and pick them up. If you don't, there you go. So that is what he is. That's the thing about these go cards. I don't mind go cards, but I also think they're just kind of like a little pointless because they're all the exact same card basically with slightly better jumpers, slightly different jumpers and stuff. And like the only thing that differentiates these cards is height and jump shots. And this card's a clone of like 4 other go cards. You know what I mean? He's not special at all, but that's fine. It is what it is. I mean, he's still a really good card. Y'all remember 2K23, Mike Bantam? I don't know. Some of y'all may not, but I'm sure a lot of y'all were playing for 2K23 Bantam. It was the RNG unlimited reward at the time out of the vault and out of the unlimited vault, and he was really, really good for his time. It was like the best small forward in the game. And now this Bantam might not be the best small forward in the game, but he is also a very, very good card. As he knocks down a jumper there, gets a really good look. Love to see it. Definitely a guy who, oh my lord, LeBron James. What? He just floated. Really good look. Love to see it. Definitely a guy who, oh my lord, LeBron James.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Courtney Ryan, and I think there's this unspoken expectation that if you're smart, stable, and successful, you shouldn't be struggling in your dating life. But the truth is, a lot of intelligent men are finding themselves single, and not necessarily by choice. If that's you, it can be incredibly confusing. You've done everything right. You have a good head on your shoulders. You treat women with respect, and you genuinely want something meaningful. So why is it so hard? In this video, I'm going to break down the real reasons why so many intelligent men are single, not to shame you, but to help you understand the patterns, shift your approach, and actually create the kind of relationship that you're looking for. The first thing that I want to talk about today is that intelligence doesn't automatically equal emotional availability. A lot of intelligent men
I am taking dynamic pricing like a little bit too far. Like, why did I just get my storage unit bill? And it has gone up over 100% in 11 months. Over 100%.
The prices change throughout the day.
So I just lost $4,000 at my newest Airbnb this summer. We got a ton of bookings in right away for July and August, and that's when we realized that the rates were too low. This is why it's so important that you use dynamic pricing.
You just mentioned that you also use the so-called dynamic pricing for seats, for seat fees. Why do you make people enter in their age and their geographic location and their gender before they can even see the cost of the seat?
What you see online right now might be different from what your neighbor sees because corporations are using AI to decide what they believe we can afford to pay, effectively squeezing every last dollar out of us. The best example of dynamic pricing is Uber. Uber has long used what they call surge pricing to charge users more during peak hours. New Yorkers recently saw their Uber prices skyrocket due to flooding, and Uber took advantage of this situation, charging astronomical prices for rides.
The subways are literally flooding daily now. Excuse me? $152? That should be $40 to $50, maybe maximum. Let me show you what happened when I checked Lyft. Hello? You want me to pay $265?
But what Uber is doing is more than simple supply and demand. Through the app, they can see, do you own an iPhone or an Android? Did you pay with a corporate credit card? And even what percentage your battery is on. And allegedly, using all of this information, they can increase the price of your ride.
Uber has been accused of charging people more if their phone battery is low. It reported that when two identical requests were made to go to and from the same location, Uber charged 6% more for the journey that was made on a smartphone with only 12% battery remaining.
Now, dynamic pricing isn't actually new. Companies.
Now, doctors are marveling at what's being called the world's oldest baby. The Ohio boy was born from an embryo frozen in 1994, and he was conceived in a lab by a couple using IVF, which was relatively new at the time. His adoptive parents found the embryo through a
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, my Gibson Broken. I'm back again with another YouTube video, man. As you can see on the screen, we got Galaxy Oppo 98 overall Mike Bantam. Mike Bantam has finally joined the team. And the audience aboard. No sign of Mike Bantam. I played unlimited 18 wins. No sign of Mike Bantam at all, man. But I mean, you do get a lot of good rewards playing this game mode, so I mean, I guess it's cool. Just the online, you can also get a chance at getting Mike Bantam. Only played 6 games total. Didn't really give it a proper run.
Yo, what's good, YouTube, and welcome back to the JC2K video. Today's video is gameplay with the brand new Galaxy Oppo Mike Bantam, and I'm excited to try this card out, see how good he is. He looks like he legitimately might be the best small forward in the game, and that includes LeBron, that includes Giannis, that includes Tim Thomas. He legitimately looks that good, so I'm excited to try this card out and see how good he really is. So, Bantam is an RNG card that you can get from some of the modes. You can get it from the Unlimited Vault, Triple Threat Online boards, Triple Threat Offline, or Triple Threat Off. Badges like Fast Twitch, Amped, Blinders, Deadeye, Garnet, Limitless Range, Slippery Off Ball, Ankle Break. Six and his animations are also looking absolutely incredible. Number one, they gave him Kyle Kuzma base. So obviously, considering he's a foreign player that I think, not a foreign player, but an old player, I don't think really any of us have ever heard of. Of course they had to make an absolutely stupid glitch. So his animations look incredible. He's got De'Aaron Fox size. I do believe I'm not 100% sure it's De'Aaron, but I think it is. But whatever he has, it's not De'Aaron actually. I think it's not official, but it's very, very good. Obviously, the Kuzma base is absolutely disgusting. One of the best couple releases in the game. Is up there with like KPJ and Unshaker Status, the best releases in my team this year. So he's going to be absolutely knocked down this tactical shooter. He's got it.
Come on, Kevin. I don't want you to see my pussy. Get out of here.
Behold the Karen final boss. Not only did Miss Goober Guardian breach her son's school's trespass order, she also terrorized the school staff by threatening to kill them.
Okay. What are you pulling me over for? Because I told you a woman was on the phone. Okay. Well, you have active warrant, so we're going to step you out. All right? No, I'm not. Yes, you are. I'm not stepping out. So I'm going to get out. Active warrant. From what? Okay, come on. From what? Where? From where? You want to know where? Okay, my husband wants to know where. In the car. Okay, I'm going to pull you out. Okay, I'm going to have to get this car, okay? Anyway, you're not pulling me up. Yeah, the car. Shannon, I'm going to break the window. I'm going to break the window. We'll let you know. Come on. Incident at the school last night.
You do have warrants.
For what?
So why have to escalate to school?
Okay, what was that for? Because I wanted my kids?
Because you're making threats.
What threats did I make?
I just told you. Shannon, stop.
And I already got a lawyer. You're not pulling me over. Tell me I got a warrant.
You do. You do have warrants.
Prove it.
Okay.
Leafs are looking for. In this video, I'll be showing you guys how to win more triple threat online games in NBA 2K23. My team in Season 5 for the new Galaxy of Mike Benson, because if you guys don't know, he looks to be one of the new best small forwards in my team, and definitely the new best award card to be grinding for in Season 5. So I know a lot of you guys want to be grinding T2 online to try to get as many wins as possible. He is also in Unlimited, in the Vault, and then I believe he's also in the Clutch Time online deal spin, like the spin after single win you get. So you do have a chance to get him from 2 different vaults, but the only way to guarantee get this card, not really guaranteed because I guess it is RNG, but the only way, he's actually on boards is going to be in T2 Online. So in this video, I'll be showing you guys how to win as many games as possible and just overall, how to get better at T2 Online. Now, it is a lot about, what players you do run and kind of what game style, what play style you want to go with T2, like what play style you want to go with T2 Online with. For me, I go for a lot of offense. You can see my lineup is Russell Westbrook, Ray Allen, and Tim Thomas. Barely any defense. The three cards, but we're going to score the ball and get up a lot of threes. That's for me how I play T2 Online. You can see my record. It's not crazy good, but I think I have somewhat of an idea of how to win T2 Online games. And I just went through 2 boards and didn't lose a single game. So you can't see, but I just did 2 boards and didn't lose a single game. Trying to grind for this Mike Benson card. But there's a couple different lineups you guys want to run, or at least types of lineups that you guys can run. So if you want to go for probably a better lineup than this just works for me personally. I'd probably go for Ray Allen kind of as your main ball handler. I wouldn't really run Russ because you already have Ray to kind of do the ball handler. You want to use like a center. Now, I don't really have any great centers on my exact team, but if you want to go for a guy like Alex Obogi, he could be a really good option as well because he gives you that height, he can shoot threes, and overall is not a terrible defender, but mainly just gives you that height. So this could be another lineup you could run. If you want to use a little bit more size, you could go Ray Allen, Tim Thomas, and me. Obviously, if you guys have like the top cards in the game, you want to be using like the T-Max, the D-Robs. If you have like these top cards like the Dark Knight of LeBron, Dark Knight of Giannis, I'm saying to use those cards if you guys can, but for a lineup that more people probably would run is like if they have Galaxy of Ray and they have Galaxy of E, and then you could maybe also go for another like maybe lockdown card. I'm not exactly sure if you'd want to run here, but I think Tim Thomas is probably the best answer. So for me, I'll run Russell Westbrook, but like I said, you guys can definitely go with a little bit bigger of a lineup. You just want to make sure you have 3 players that can score the ball. You don't want anybody on the court that can't shoot. You don't want like an inside big. So for example, I don't think I really have any inside bigs. You don't really want to run like a Drummond. You don't really want to run like a just a center that can't shoot like a Bogut or, Jericho Sims or Khalid. You don't want to run these type of centers. You want to run a guy that can, space the floor and obviously shoot threes. But let's hop into a T2 Online game and show you guys how to win them as fast as possible and as easy as possible as well. So as you guys can see, my opponent actually does have a really good squad. He's got Seti Osman, he's got KG, and Andrew Wiggins as well. So it should be a tough test with obviously the lineup I do run. It's going to be a little bit undersized, but what you guys mainly want to do is on offense, just try to chuck up as many threes as possible. I know it might be a little bit hard at first to learn how to 3-hunt, but when I tell you guys, you want to be using up as much of that shot clock to get a 3. Like, if you can get a wide open 3, that is obviously the goal for every single possession. We're going to miss there on the first possession, but I'm just telling you guys right now, that is what you want to focus on, is just 3-hunting and getting up a lot of threes, because you want to just be able to outshoot your opponent and just outscore them from the 3-point line. And then on defense, it's kind of like the exact opposite. You want to make sure they're not shooting threes and let them go to the rim. Now, I'm not saying to give wide open dunks, but just kind of play defense where you're guarding the 3-point line and making sure your opponent's not getting up threes. Because if you get a 3 every single possession and your opponent's only scoring 2s, after like 3 or 4 shots, you're going to have like a 3 to 4 point lead and overall should be able to win the game. So what I do is try to play amazing defense on the 3-point line spot. If your opponent wants to green from half court, if your opponent wants to do Seti Osman, basically from half court, then nothing you can really do there. But offensively, you want to use a lot of pick and rolls, a lot of pick and pops, and just be able to run yourself at that 3-point line. Like I said, that's why personally I like to run 3.
YouTube.
In the Pat Pets podcast, I was doing an all-time redraft with every single player in NBA history, and that's when Karl Malone's name came up. And here's the moment Patrick Beverley found out for the first time what Karl Malone did off court with that 13-year-old.
What do you think about
when Karl Malone gets included on teams like this, in games like this?
I like it. I mean, I think he's definitely greatest player in the club.
I think Karl Malone is. What about his off-the-court stuff? You know, does that factor in it at all?
No, I really don't know a lot of off-the-court stuff about Karl.
You got a 13-year-old pregnant. I'm going to go Oscar Robertson and Julius Erving. Jay. Timeout? You need a timeout? A 30-second? Well,
I need a full timeout. You wait a second. I have a question.
Okay.
When you say, when you said 13-year-old pregnant, he's 16?
I think it was a grown-up. Let's check. How old? Hold on. When he got a 13. He was 20. And he got a 13-year-old pregnant. That doesn't seem cool to me. Yeah, you could draft him if you want.
Yeah, I ain't drafting him.
Yeah, you didn't know that. I feel like that's not like a talked about story, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes it is.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't.
The kid did go on to go to the I think the NFL. Demetrius Bell was his name, but I don't think Karl Malone was in his life at all, and he said he treats it like his mom went to the sperm bank.
Wrong. I am. That threw me the fuck off. Like, I don't.
Yeah, that's bad.
Is it true? And this is documented?
True and documented.
Was the exercise drafting these guys or the exercise to Karl Malone? That's my next question.
Karl Malone just kind of when you're having these types of drafts. Karl Malone, what, second leading scorer of all time? I mean, was it Jefferson just saying that like Karl Malone's better than Charles Barkley or something because he was more disciplined? And that's hard to even talk about Karl Malone. Richard Jefferson just saying that like Karl Malone's better than Charles Barkley or something because he was more disciplined. And that's hard to even talk about Karl Malone without having this conversation. You know, it's in the back of my mind every time I think about him.
And I didn't even know this. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's my thing, wrong. I didn't know this at all. So, like,
you never heard this?
No.
Disappointing. And Karl Malone, not you.
Thing wrong. I didn't know this at all. So, like,
you never heard this?
No. And I didn't even know this. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's my thing, wrong. I didn't know this at all. So, like,
you never heard this?
No.
Disappointing. And Karl Malone, not you. On the Pat podcast, they were doing an all-time get off court with that 13-year-old.
What do you think about when Karl Malone gets included on teams like this, in games like this?
I like it. I mean, I think he's only greatest player of the day.
Big Karl Malone is. What about his off-the-court stuff? You know, does that factor in it at all?
No, I really don't know a lot of off-the-court stuff about Karl.
He got a 13-year-old pregnant. I'm going to go Oscar Robertson and Julius Erving. J. I'm out. You need a timeout? A 30-second?
Cool.
Full?
I'm just a full timeout. Wait a second. I have a question.
J. I'm out. You need a timeout? A 30-second?
Cool.
Full?
Police respond to a home.
I don't really know what.
Curry the other way. Over Rubio. Steph Curry now up to 5 points. Some big baskets against Steph the runner. Steph Curry get a little Houdini running together. Let's get on the top road trip with 4 games to go. Steph Curry, he is on one tonight. In relation to our Andrew Wiggins. Curry 3. I think he turned around before it went in, too. He's on it again. Steph Curry 3. He does not care. He's going to keep shooting it and watch him turn around. You watch it go in. Watch it, too. Curry 3. Steph goes to the hand. Oh, my goodness. All along the first. 2. Out. Still trying to get up. Pass inside the green. Curry, number 3. No. 1-point game, 52.5. By Curry, corner 3. Doesn't play the game with blinders on. Here comes Poole. Cross court Curry. Curry for 3. Pops it in. Curry erupting in the last couple of minutes, and it's a 3-point game. 3. He is ruthless. 10-0 Golden State run. Very good. They do the corner. Step for the lead. You know how much confidence you have to do that? Especially free on Curry. Is that even the other?
Trouble on the glass for the Dubs. Curry just turned and the ball was there. Draymond knew it before him. Catches it and it doesn't even need to watch it go in.
They're expecting help, but it never came. The other team stay right in front.
Curry was running backwards as he released it. That's how hot he is.
You never saw it go in. You knew it was in.
Klay Thompson. Curry sidestep, three-pointer. It's good. And the lead back up to 19. Schroeder didn't want that three. Give it to the hottest warrior. Curry's got it. Three. In the last 2 minutes.
And Steph is celebrating with Schroeder.
Ball at it. Find Curry. Catch. Fire. You got it. He turns around. He doesn't do it too much, but he does his normal turnaround. When he sees it, he knows it is good. Curry. Are you kidding me? Can he shoot? What?
I was casually scrolling on Twitter today looking at some gaming clips, and I came across this bullshit, folks. Look at this, bro. This is what I be talking about. I don't know what's going on, but just listen to this very short clip, and I'm going to give my take on this.
Every guy should start in jail and have to work his way out. Absolutely. I think that idea. Because it's like you need to earn your place out here. You do. In my opinion. You do. And it should be treated as if they're on probation for a while. Mm-hmm. One strike, you're back. Yeah, even when they're out, every guy should start in jail and have to.
Like, I'm not going to lie. What's going on? Like, I don't know what's good with, like, the whole anti-male movement and shit. But it's like, I meet women in real life. So it's not, like, only on the internet that I witness these things. I'm talking about people that I'm friends with.
Welcome back here to Expand. It is finally about that time. Madden 26 is here, and as you can tell, we're starting up this year with a banger. We have 5 years to rebuild the New Orleans Saints. I'm taking the hard route this year, at least for the first video of the season for Madden 26. We're starting off with who else to the New Orleans Saints, who are not very good right now, I guess we can say. As we know, the Saints are in pretty much of a cap frenzy right now. They don't have that much cap space. They did just take Tyler Shaw this past draft, and that is who we are focusing this rebuild on, at least for the 5 years we're going to be doing this. This team does have
What's 30 plus 20 plus 10 plus 8 plus 30 plus 15 plus 12 plus 5 plus 2 plus 10?
key pieces we're going to use. First round pick Calvin Banks Jr. But other than that, honestly, I'm not too sure exactly what route we should go, at least for the Saints. We have a solid offensive line right now. We have a mediocre quarterback room, I will say that. We have an older in the field running back. Alvin Kamara is about 29 years old now, almost 30. We have a young Keandre Miller, who was recently drafted in the past couple of years. We have Cam Akers, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We have Chris Olave, who just can't stay healthy on the field. An older Brandon Cooks, one of my favorite receivers in the NFL, played a phenomenal year last year. Donovan Peoples-Jones, Cedric Wilson Jr. The offense isn't bad, but it's just going to be the quarterback play that's going to be questionable for us. Now, the defense isn't bad as well. We have Tyrann Mathieu at free safety, who I'm pretty sure did retire. So if he did, that's on me. I'm like 99% sure. We also have Cam Jordan, who's like 35 now as well. DeMario Davis at a 90 overall. Another rookie the St. drafted in this past draft. Carl Granderson, Justin Reed's here at the 87 overall. The secondary, at least the cornerbacks aren't that good. If you go Amadi, we have Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alante Taylor, Isaac Gidon, and that's really it. So the secondary, like I said, at least the cornerbacks are going to need a lot of help if we want to win soon. We also have Brian Breesy, who was just drafted last year, Dalvin Gottchurch, and Nathan Shepard. So as you can see, at least for this team, it's not going to be easy. We're taking the high ball here, and we only have 5 years to win a Super Bowl with this team. If we don't, I'll be giving away a jersey of your choice. Just comment down below to end the giveaway and stay to the end to see if we do succeed or fail. First move we decided to make is trade away Alvin Kamara to the Dallas Cowboys for Kiara Elam, who's a 74 overall quick dev or star dev, and a second-round pick for this upcoming draft. Now, I want to point this out now. If you're a Saints fan and you don't like any of these moves I make, I totally understand that. I'm the GM here. You know, we brought back Kyler Michael for Madden 26, and I'm going to do what I think is best. Alvin Kamara's 30 years old. There's no way we were getting a first.
Who do you think I am?
I don't know. Who are you?
I am the winner of Alexander Chapalos and granddaughter of Mikhail Khan. Wait, what are you going to do with your roof? You're going to put it on H5?
Just take on your body.
No! I almost look.
That's true. Almost. Yeah. The energy way. Man, this was like the blitz when I was playing with little kids. Except that was hard.
Hey, I completely, like, I don't want to say what I did to you in the opening, okay? In the middle game, because it sounds
You collapsed? It is. She collapsed. Okay. On you come on?
Yes.
Ball shot.
Yes. 9 at 6. Have you heard of this one?
No.
It's not in your...
Didn't some guy play F3 against?
Yeah.
Good morning. 32 months ago, we launched ChatGPT, and since then, it has become the default way that people use AI. In that first week, 1 million people tried it out, and we thought that was pretty incredible. But now, about 700 million people use ChatGPT every week, and increasingly rely on it to work, to learn, for advice, to create, and much more. Today, finally, we're launching GPT-5. GPT-5 is a major upgrade over GPT-4 and a significant step along our path to AGI. Now, today we're going to show you some incredible demos, we'll talk about some performance metrics, but the important point is this. We think you will love using GPT-5 much more than any previous AI. It is useful, it is smart, it is fast, it is intuitive. GPT-3 was sort of like talking to a high school student. There were flashes of brilliance, lots of annoyance. But people started to use it and get some value out of it. With GPT-4, maybe it was like talking to a college student. Real intelligence, real utility. But with GPT-5, now it's like talking to an expert, a legitimate PhD level expert in anything, any area you need, on demand, that can help you with whatever your goals are. And we're very excited that you'll get to try this. But it's not only asking that. GPT-5 can also do stuff. It can write an entire computer program from scratch to help you with whatever you like. And this idea of software on demand is going to be one of the defining characteristics of the GPT-5 era. It can help you plan a party, send invitations, order supplies. It can help you understand your healthcare and make decisions on your journey. It can provide you information to learn about any topic you'd like, and much more. This is an incredible superpower on demand. It would have been unimaginable at any previous time in history. You get access to an entire team of PhD-level experts in your pocket, helping you with whatever you want to do. And anyone, pretty soon, will be able to do more than anyone in history could. So today, we're going to talk about GPT-5. we'll show you some upgrades to ChatGPT, and we'll talk about the API. GPT-5 is great for a lot of things, but we think it's going to be an especially important moment for businesses and developers, and we're very excited to see what they're going to build with this new technology. So we can't wait for you all to start building with this. We hope you enjoy it as much as we enjoy building it for you. And to start, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Mark, our Chief Research Officer, to tell you about GPT-5. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm joined by Max, who leads the post-training team, and Rennie from our engineering team. Over the past few years, OpenAI has spearheaded the reasoning paradigm. These are models which pause to think before delivering more intelligent responses. Now, reasoning is at the heart of our AGI program, and it underlies the technologies that we use to ship stuff like ChatGPT Agent and deep research. GPT-5 aims to bring this breakthrough to everyone. Until now, our users have had to pick between the fast responses of standard GPTs or the slow, more thoughtful responses from our reasoning models. But GPT-5, it eliminates this choice. It aims to think just the perfect amount to give you the perfect answer. Now, something like this takes a lot of hard work. We've had to do a lot of research to make GPT-5 the most powerful, the most smart, the fastest, the most reliable, and the most robust reasoning model that we've used today. Today, we're going to show a series of demos in coding, in writing, in learning, and in health. But GPT-5 isn't limited to these domains. It's very useful in all cases where you require deep reasoning or expert level knowledge.
Who owns ChatGPT and OpenAI? So what is OpenAI's mission, and what is a capped profit company? It's a hybrid structure between a nonprofit and a for-profit. Yes, can you break it down?
Absolutely. So how the capped profit model works at OpenAI. One investment returns cap. Investors and employees can earn returns on their investment, but only up to a certain multiple. For example, if someone invests in OpenAI, they might be capped at 100x return on their investment. This means that once they reach that cap, they won't receive any additional profits. Non-profit control. The company that governs OpenAI LP is a non-profit, OpenAI Inc. So the ultimate decisions are driven by the mission rather than profit. Mission first approach. The cap ensures
that the company stays focused on its mission to develop AGI safely for the benefit of humanity rather than chasing unlimited profits. This structure is quite unique and aims to balance the need for capital with ethical considerations.
So is that what ChatGPT is, AGI? And if it is, can you tell me more about it?
ChatGPT is not considered AGI, artificial general intelligence. It's more like an advanced AI that excels at specific tasks like language understanding, generation, and conversation. AGI, on the other hand, would be an AI that can understand, learn, and apply knowledge across a wide variety of tasks at a human level or beyond. What makes AGI different? Generalization. AGI would be able to transfer knowledge from one domain to another, much like humans can. Adaptability. It would handle tasks it wasn't specifically trained on. Self-improvement. AGI would improve its own capabilities autonomously. ChatGPT, while sophisticated, is still a specialized tool with limitations. The journey to AGI is ongoing and a big focus for organizations like OpenAI.
So NBA 2K apparently has this clause in the terms of services where you can't sue them if you accept them. This is what I heard. So one question is that true? And if it is, would that hold up in court?
Yeah, a lot of software and online services have clauses in their terms of service that limit your ability to sue them, often requiring arbitration instead of going to court. This is pretty common in the gaming industry and other tech companies as well. As for whether it would hold up in court, generally these clauses are enforceable, but it can depend on the jurisdiction and specific circumstances. Courts sometimes do find certain clauses to be unconscionable or unfair, especially if they violate consumer protection laws. But in general, these clauses do tend to hold up. It's always good to read the terms of service carefully and understand what you're agreeing to.
And what did you mean by arbitration?
Arbitration is an alternative dispute resolution method where instead of going to court, the parties in a dispute agree to submit their conflict to one or more arbitrators. These arbitrators are neutral third parties who make a binding decision in the dispute. A few key points about arbitration: faster and private, tends to be faster and more confidential than going to court. Binding decision, the arbitrator's decision is usually final and can be enforced like a court judgment. Limited appeal, you generally have fewer options to appeal an arbitration decision compared to a court ruling. It's often included in terms of service to help companies avoid lengthy and costly litigation. If you ever find yourself in a dispute, it's good to know that arbitration is likely the route you'd have to take if you've agreed to those terms.
Is arbitration like in the show Suits, where they will come to they'll meet in like the office and they'll have one company, or what would that be called?
Yeah, it can be somewhat similar to what you see in shows like Suits, where the parties come together in a more informal setting to resolve their dispute. That setting is often called an arbitration hearing, and it can be a bit more flexible and less formal than a court trial. The arbitrator, like a judge, will listen to both sides, review evidence, and then make a decision. So it does have that kind of collaborative and somewhat dramatic flair to it.
So what are the classifications to become an arbiter, as I'm guessing what they're called, and how does it stack up to like being a judge in terms of like how hard it is, how long the hours are, and stuff like that?
To become an arbitrator, the paths can vary quite a bit, depending on the industry and the complexity of the disputes. Generally, arbitrators are experts in a specific field, like law, finance, construction, or healthcare. Many arbitrators are former judges or experienced attorneys, but you can also find professionals from various fields. In terms of qualifications, it usually involves having a strong background in the relevant area, additional training in arbitration, and sometimes certification from an arbitration institution. Comparing it to being a judge, the roles are similar in that both involve making decisions on disputes, but there are some key differences. Arbitrators usually have more flexibility in their schedules. The cases they take on, they're often paid per case rather than having a fixed salary, and the process is generally less formal and more streamlined than a court system. So it's a bit of a different dynamic, but still quite an important role.
So they're not called arbiters, they're called arbitrators, or are the terms interchangeable?
You can actually use both terms. Arbitrator is the more commonly used term, but arbiter is also correct and means essentially the same thing. So you can use whichever one feels more natural.
Things like math, even in things like law. And the exciting thing is, we're excited to make this available to everyone, even to our free tier.
Ooh, free.
We're going to be talking about how GPT-5 supercharges our ChatGPT app and our API. We believe that GPT-5 is the best coding model on the market today. To start, let's have Max talk a little bit about benchmarks and how the models stack up.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So, as Mark said, we think GPT-5 is by all over. So, let's start by talking through some evals. Now, evals aren't everything, and they don't tell you everything about the model. They can highlight its intelligence, and GPT-5 performs exceptionally well on a range of academic evals across subjects. It outperforms both our previous models and other models on the market. So, picking up first on the theme of coding, GPT-5 sets a new high on SquiBench, which is an academic eval that tracks performance on real software engineering tasks. Now, this again is an eval, but we think it will reflect the model's performance in the real world. GPT-5 also performs very well on Gator Polyglot, which measures its ability to implement complex functionalities in a variety of different programming languages. Now, beyond coding, GPT-5 performs exceptionally well at multimodal reasoning, setting a new high on MMMU, actually outperforming both our previous models and most humans on this task. This is basically a visual reasoning domain where you have to, from an image, figure out what's going on. GPT-5 is also excellent at mathematical reasoning, as shown by its performance on AMY 2025. Now, this is an exam that American high school students take to qualify for the International Mathematical Olympiad, and GPT-5 performed exceptionally well, again, beating our previous models and other models that are out there. Now, moving beyond academic evals and more towards some real-world use cases, we put a lot of work into making GPT-5 the most reliable and accurate model in the world. Language models historically have been plagued by hallucinations, factual errors, that make it hard to rely on their outputs for actually important tasks. For GPT-5, we made improving factuality, especially on open-ended or complex questions, a priority. We also built a set of new evals to track this, and we're very happy to report that GPT-5 is by far our most reliable, most factual model ever. GPT-5 also performs exceptionally well on health-related questions. Now, health is a big part of how people get value from ChatGPT in the real world. We'll talk about this later on in the live stream. But again, we're very happy to report that GPT-5 is by far our most reliable model for health yet. So all of this together adds up to a model that is faster, more reliable, and more accurate for everyone who uses ChatGPT. So now Rennie will talk to you about how to actually use GPT-5.
Thanks, Max. The best part is that we're bringing this frontier intelligence to all users. GPT-5 is rolling out today for free plus pro and team users, and next week we'll roll it out to enterprise and EDU. For the first time, our most advanced model will be available to the free tier. Free users will start with GPT-5, and when they hit their limit, they'll transition to GPT-5 Mini, a smaller but still highly capable model. It actually outperforms O3 on many dimensions. Plus users will still have significantly higher usage than free users, and our Pro subscribers will get unlimited GPT-5, along with GPT-5 Pro, extended thinking for even more detailed and reliable response when you just need that extra depth. Team, enterprise, and EDU customers can also use GPT-5 reliably as their default model for everyday work, with generous rate limits that enable entire organizations to use GPT-5. And all the tools you already know, search, file and image upload, data analysis with Python, Canvas, image generation, memory, custom instructions, they'll all just work on GPT-5.
Jason, thank you so much, Max. Thank you so much, Randy. We've just seen a lot about how the model stacks up in terms of benchmarks.
Are you ChatGPT-5 or are you still the old model?
That's why. We're going to see a couple of live demos now presented by Tina, by Elaine, and Jan. Thank you so much. Elaine, can you show us how smart the model is?
Sure, thanks so much, Mark. I'm Elaine. Reasoning ChatGPT's ability to think deeply through complex problems is now built into GPT-5. It will automatically think whenever needed, delivering a more comprehensive, accurate, and detailed answer to you. Just as Sam said, it's like having a team of PhDs in your pocket. So let's see that in action. Suppose your kid is in middle school physics and they want to learn about Bernoulli effect. They need your help with their homework, and you might be like, wait, I might need some help with that too. So you could ask GPT-5, give me a quick refresher on the Bernoulli effect and why airplanes are the shape they are. Since this is a pretty straightforward prompt, GPT-5 actually doesn't need extra time to think about it and answers right away. But it still gives me a high-quality answer and explains the concept clearly. So here it says, like, Bernoulli effect means like faster-moving fluid has lower pressure and slow-moving fluid has higher pressure. So to make this even more helpful, I'm going to ask GPT-5 to create a moving demo to illustrate this. So I could ask, explain this in detail and create a moving SVG in the Canvas tool to show me. This is a pretty complex task because now GPT-5 actually needs to build the visual. Therefore, GPT-5 takes a moment to think through the answer so you can come back with something more comprehensive and accurate. What's really nice is that you don't need to remember to turn on thinking each time. GPT-5 will do it for you automatically whenever the test benefits from deeper reasoning. If you really want to make sure that GPT-5 uses thinking, you can either say something like, think hard about this in the prompt to guide the model, or if you're a paid user, you can choose the GPT-5 thinking model from the model picker. Now you can see that the model is actually writing the front-end code to build the demo I asked for. So Christina, have you ever done some front-end coding before?
Yeah, actually the last time I touched any front-end coding was about 3 years ago for the first demo of ChatGPT.
Wow. So it's the first ChatGPT. That's where it all begins. Tell us more about it.
It wasn't even called ChatGPT then. I think it was called Chat with GPT.
That's a really good name.
Always good name. But I am not a front-end expert, and I really had to touch front-end in quite a while, so it took me quite a bit of time to get the React demo.
I see. That's a lot of work. So how long did it take you to do something like that?
Honestly, maybe embarrassing to admit, it was like a week.
Well, but your weeks of hard work actually paid off well. See how successful ChatGPT it is today after your first demo. So you know what? I'm also building a demo right now. Luckily, I have GPT-5 with me right now, and let's see how long it will take this time.
Maybe you should call it 5 with GPT.
Yeah, exactly. So you see that GPT-5 has already written like more than 200 lines of code already. And while the model is thinking, you can also tap here to expand the chain of thought to actually see what's going on under the hood. For example, the GPT-5 was thinking about, the user wants a moving SVG visualization in Canvas. I actually need to create HTML code to do that. It also thinks about like what kind of front-end tool I need to use, for example, React and Tailwind. It also thinks about, I need to ensure the physics are accurate. I need to check what the Bernoulli principle is. So, Christina, since you're here from the first day of ChatGPT, can you tell us like what it was like at that time and what motivated ChatGPT?
Yeah, I think at the time we weren't really sure about like how people would actually use it and what use cases were important. We were even going back and forth about maybe we should be releasing something that's like more specific to a certain use case. It's really cool now here that we have all these. We have a much better understanding of how people actually want to work with chat, and we can actually optimize models for those use cases, like coding.
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember how it felt like when you first talked to ChatGPT, like the first version of the model?
Yes. I don't know if people remember when the first version of ChatGPT would always start, as an AI model, I can't do something. It's so great to see how far we've come from that personality.
Yeah, it's much more human-like right now. Okay, so it's already done. So it looks like ChatGPT just finished like 300 or 400 lines of code in 2 minutes. So let's see if the code can actually run. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So with just a simple prompt, GPT-5 created this interactive and engaging demo that I can actually play with. So I can actually change the airspeed here to see how the lift and the pressure change accordingly. I can also tweak the angle of attack to see if my plane will actually fly or crash. Yeah. So GPT-5 can just bring any hardcore concept to life in moments. Imagine you can use this for anything that you're interested in, whether it's math, physics, chemistry, or biology. GPT-5 just makes learning so much more approachable and enjoyable.
Thanks, Elaine. I've been a part of ChatGPT since day one, and it's really cool to see all the progress we made since then, especially with capabilities like writing. Writing is one of the most common use cases people have been using ChatGPT for, and I'm excited to say with GPT-5, we've improved the writing quality significantly. It's a much more effective partner. It can help you elevate anything from drafts to emails and even stories. Let's see this in action. So with GPT-5, we'll actually be deprecating all of our previous models. I think they've done a pretty good job, so let's make sure we can give them a proper goodbye. So we're going to ask both 4.0 and GPT-5 to write a eulogy to our previous ChatGPT models. We want it to be heartfelt and heartwarming, but also hopeful. So let's ask GPT-5 for it. And as it's thinking, we're actually going to go ahead and read a preloaded the 4.0 response. So 4.0 decided to start with, today, as we prepare to welcome GPT-5 into the world, we gather to bid a heartfelt farewell to the models that came before. That's a decent start. Now let's kind of skim through and find another line. Your words reached across the globe, building connections where there had been none. I personally don't really like this line because it's rather generic and really without the previous context, it just feels like it could be about anything and feels more like a templated response. Now, let's go back to GPT-5 to see what it's given us. Let's start with friends, colleagues, curious strangers who became regulars. Even with this just first line here, we can see that GPT-5 has a lot more rhythm and beat to its prose than 4.0 did. Now let's find some other lines here. I actually like this. These models help millions write first lines, last lines, bridge language gaps, pass tests, argue better, soften emails, and say things they couldn't quite say alone. I really like this line because it shows that it's not just a templated response, and it's actually quite personal, and it gets the nuance of the situation right. And I think that's the kind of stuff that GPT-5 does much better than 4.0 did before. It actually makes things a lot more genuine and emotionally resonant to people. With GPT-5, the responses feel less like AI and more like you're chatting with your high IQ and EQ friend.
Thanks, Christina. My name is Jan, and I'll be telling you about some of the progress that we made on coding. GPT-5 is clearly our best coding model yet. It will help everyone, even those who do not know how to write code, to bring their ideas to life.
It just helped me.
Indeed, and it will help me right now. So I will try to show you that. I will actually try to build something that I would find useful, which is building a web app for my partner to learn how to speak French so that she can better communicate with my family. So here I have a prompt. I will execute it. It asks exactly what I just said. Please build a web app for my partner to learn French. One thing to note is that GPT-5, just like many of our other models, has a lot of diversity in its answers. So what I like doing, especially when you do this type of vibe coding, is to take this message and ask it multiple times to GPT-5, and then you can decide which one you prefer. I'm going to open a few tabs. Just going to paste that. Great. So while it's working on it, let's read through exactly the prompt I wrote. Create a beautiful and highly interactive web app for my partner, an English speaker, to learn French. And then I gave a little bit more details. Track her daily progress. Use a highly engaging theme. Oh, it's already working. I'm going to put it on the side for now. Use a highly engaging theme. Include a variety of activities like flashcards and quizzes that she can interact with. And then to make it even more fun for her, I actually asked GPT-5 to embed an educational game, which is based on the old Snake game, but I asked to add a French touch to it, which is to replace the snake with a mouse and the apples with cheese. And to make sure that it's educational, every time, I know it's complicated, please bear with me, every time the mouse will eat a piece of cheese, I ask GPT-5 to voice over a new French word so that my partner can practice the pronunciation.
I can see how much you want her to learn.
Great. So GPT-5 is still working on it. It already wrote 240 lines of code. So honestly, is much more than what I would have written in that time. And
yeah, but it's super hard. You know, you miss a couple things and it just doesn't work.
Exactly. But the good part is that you don't need to understand any of that right now. So I'll just let it through. Maybe we can check the other tabs. Oh. So I can simply press run code. So I'll do that and cross my fingers.
Oh, right.
God damn, dumbass bitch. Dumbass bitch.
I'm using.
Okay, guys, this is a wild one, but we should have expected it. I mean, if we act like ChatGPT is the new god, we should have better predicted that, of course, we would be getting ChatGPT-induced religious psychosis. So yes, this seems to be a real thing that is happening. Let's dive in. Religious psychosis is a mental health condition where you experience psychotic symptoms such as hallucinations or delusions, but with spiritual or religious themes. And this is where people will then ask, isn't that everyone who is religious? Because they're all talking to gods and seeing patterns and believing in angels. But what differentiates...
Okay, Howard.
Over. Let's take a look at the new team runouts in Madden 26. This video is presented by the EA Creator Network, and they did allow me to get this early footage. And I'm going to let you hear all the sounds and the music and the chants that go along with these runouts in just a second. But keep in mind, I did record this on an earlier build of the game, so it is a work in progress. Some of the team runouts might not be fully complete yet either. But I just wanted you to get an idea of what it's kind of looking like for the updated presentation for the team introductions. Also, keep in mind the nighttime runouts for a lot of teams are better, longer, and more epic than their daytime ones, whereas for some teams they're kind of similar for both day and nighttime. So I did try to include the best version of each team in this video. And I also added the pregame Super Bowl runouts at the end if you want to check that out as well. And I've also got a lot more exclusive Madden 26.
Humans have free will, or are we merely biological machines determined by our genes, environment, and other factors of which we have no control? Would the world be a better place if we got rid of the idea of free will? Today we'll talk with our...
So what's your take? I believe in an afterlife. We're currently in it. This is hell. 100% disagree. You disagree? This is regular life. It's going to be hard to pitch somebody who's doing well that this is hell, but let me just put it out there for you. Everybody thinks of hell as endless. It's all...